Ahoy, sailors, and welcome back to Ship Talk with Jen and Ross. I am Ross, obviously, and with me, as always, is Jen, and we are a pair of little crazy gold knot first mates who love to share our love of all things Virgin Voyages and adult cruising and adult traveling. And Jen, what are we talking about today?
We are doing another Virgin Voyages deep dive, and this time we're talking about activities and things that there are to do when you're on board any of Virgin's lady ships.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I know you have your favorites and I have mine, and we'll have some crossovers and we might have some healthy disagreement. And that's the best part of this show is that when we have different takes on things, our huge fanfare, which is numbering in at least the fives, uh, get to see multiple sides because you have your favorites and I have mine. And that's what
hmm
makes this dialogue so very important. Um, I have a question to lead us off. You walk onto the ship, you just got on board. What's your first stop? Whether you
Drought House.
forget, like, oh, I'm a rock star, I have to go here first. What is your first stop?
Immediately Drought House to get a drink.
Do you have a
We have
beverage
to.
as well?
Um, no, because it's different every time. Last time I got a lemon drop, I think. Usually it's a beer. Um, they have some great beers at Drought House. They have some great non-alcoholic drinks at Drought House. But last time I was like, we had a relaxing morning and I didn't have any mimosas before we got there like I normally do. So I got myself a little martini and it was great.
I love that. I love that. I get on board and it's one of two things. Either we're going to be at the sip lounge anyway if we go as a rock star. So that which calls for espresso martinis because we got to get our energy going. Um, or we are going to get an ice cream cone at
Yeah.
Liquid Ice Cream, and then
We
we are cruising.
we typically, especially if we have Splash of Romance, because we'll typically buy that so that we get priority boarding. We always take our bags because this last time we ended up did we check all of our bags last time? I can't remember. I don't think we did. I think we had a carry on and then our big bags we checked. But since we have priority boarding, we parked ourselves at Drought House and went through and added all of the important activities to the schedule that we needed to book right there so that we weren't wasting any time and we could make sure that we were getting our workout classes and things scheduled. Because normally we miss out on that when we're
That's a
boarding
really
later. So,
what a great key tip that is. And we were spending so much time talking to in at Christmas time with our um, rock star agent Stana that we forgot to sign up for the chocolate making class at the test kitchen, and that is our number one if it's available sign up for on this cruise
yeah,
because we really want to do that.
my friends that I was with, I didn't want to do a lot of the things other than we wanted to go to the dinner show because this was Brilliant Lady and we wanted to go see. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but the dinner show that's on Brilliant Lady is fantastic. And we were like, we have to make sure this fits in our schedule so we can adjust any dining we need to based on when we're doing that. And so we were able to get it because we got right on the ship and did it and got the exact day we wanted. And then my friends wanted to do the bungee class, which I've heard isn't around anymore, or it's different than it was because people were getting hurt. But they were able to book that. The other thing to know too is that if you miss out on booking them, things like the grog walk, all of those things, usually there's a waiting list, or you can show up, especially for the workout classes. You could show up. There's always going to be people that don't show up that will allow you to get in. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind. If you get on board a little later in the day, it's not a huge deal.
And I will say this, when we get to the grog walk, I have very mixed feelings on the grog.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we will have that.
Hmm.
We will definitely have that open dialogue. So where do you want
Yeah.
to start, Jen? I mean, there's so many directions we can go on this one.
Should we talk about the entertainment that is a little more interactive first or the shows first?
I think we should start with um things that are more interactive because I think those are the things that really, there's so many choices. Like we have our
Hmm.
must-dos. What's your must-do for interactive?
It's funny because all of my sailings have been with a lot of people, and uh, uh, most of the time we disagree on what we want to do, or we're on such a tight schedule trying to wrangle 8 different people that we don't have time for all of the interactive activities.
Your
My first cruise, we didn't do any of them. My
Oh,
second cruise, we did a lot of the shows, but not the interactions with the happenings cast. Um, so my time on Brilliant Lady was really the first time we had time to do that. When you're on the 4 and 5 night cruises, everything just feels so jam packed. And that was back when I was drinking a lot, and that's all we were doing was sitting by the pool and drinking. Um,
which there's nothing
so
wrong with. That's a great
no,
activity
we
choice.
we had a great. I fell in love with Virgin just doing that, and that was also back before they started filling out their entertainment schedule in the afternoons.
But
There was a
there's no
lot less to
drink
do.
package. But there's
Yeah.
no drink package. Um, so must do for us. We've got to go to karaoke at least once, if not twice. And I am the self-anointed worst singer in the world.
Wait, do
Um,
you do karaoke with the diva and the happenings cast, or do you do the in the room?
we have not gone to the room yet. We're going to try to do the room
Okay.
on this one. So the room, just so everybody understands, is you can go and for no charge rent or use one of the karaoke
Booths.
studios, and you can either you can bring your own phone, which is kind of silly to do music because you can just tap into their exhaustive library. I mean, let's face it, this is Virgin music, Virgin Records to be precise. And if you could think of the song, they probably have it. And it is an amazing experience. It's you, whoever you want there, and no one you don't want, and just the vibes that you bring and have a great time. And no one's standing outside watching you guys. It's totally
Well,
private.
it's not
Well,
because you can hear people. Like you
you
walk into
can.
the room and you can hear people because people are generally scream singing because that's just what you do. They're
As
not
one
soundproof
does.
booths.
Right.
They're not soundproof booths, but they you can't see into them. You just hear the noise, and it can kind of be a lot when there's multiple rooms going. I don't think I've ever been in there when there are more than like 2 rooms going at a time. You can't hear each other from the other rooms, but when you're in the center area, you can. Um, Signups fill up early, so definitely go sign up at the beginning of your trip and make sure, or at the beginning of the day, and make sure you get your spot. There are different room sizes based on the amount of people you're bringing, so pay attention to that when you're signing up. But it's so much fun.
So karaoke with the happenings cast is typically going to happen um by the social club or
Late at
in the
night,
social club.
usually. Yeah, in the
Late at
social
night,
club.
but they also do afternoon ones, but
Yeah,
they could also be over by the dock house. So there are
that
lots of
general
locations.
area on
Yeah,
deck
that
7.
that channel area on 7, and it's so much fun. And you're gonna see people who should literally be have their own recording contract, and then there's people like me. And so I can't sing on key. However, if you don't know this fun fact, I do voices. Like my dream job is to be a voiceover artist, and
Hmm.
I can do voices for my dogs. And when I sing as Charlie, I am apparently a perfect baritone. Don't understand why. Nobody can explain it. But when I do
It's
his
because you're
voice,
trying too hard.
so when I'm singing as him, it comes out perfect. And I have my go-to song, which is "The Devil Went Down to Georgia." My wife will usually do a Stevie Nicks song. Um, and we always try to get on the list. If you are planning on singing karaoke, get there early and get on the list early.
Mm.
Um, and be very nice to the Happenings cast. We've mentioned this in every single podcast. Treat them like gold, and they will treat you back like gold.
Yeah. The list fills up for karaoke with the Happenings cast, so definitely get there early and sign up. They've also been adding in karaoke with the diva, which
Hmm.
I personally enjoyed more on Brilliant Lady because our diva was so fantastic. Dixie Crystals, she was so funny. Um, so
She's
she's
she's been on other ships. Dixie,
She's
correct?
done other launches. Yeah, she's been like the diva on all of the ship launches, I'm pretty sure. She's not doing diva stuff anymore. She's working for Virgin in a different capacity now. That her contract's up, but which is unfortunate because she was so good. But
She might make
um,
appearances now and then.
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm. She hasn't like announced what she's going to be doing, so I'm curious what kind of role they're making for her. But
Jen, can you remind us what the diva is and what the happenings cast is? Because we should probably refresh everybody's mind on
yeah.
that.
So the diva is the drag queen on board. Um, Not your typical drag queen, not like you're going to a drag show. Very different, although they are in drag. um, they're all so funny, and they just kind of mosey around the ship. They'll do a cabaret. They have their own shows that they do. And each one is different and brings a different thing. So like even though you're going on Brilliant Lady and you're seeing the Diva Goes West, their personalities and their characters bring something different to it every time. So I'm very excited to be back on Brilliant and see the new diva and how different it is from Dixie because Dixie was just so funny. Um, and she just filled that whole role perfectly.
And
And then the
as
happenings cast.
oh yeah, and the happenings cast.
So that the happenings cast is like what's replacing your typical cruise entertainment staff. So like your cruise director would be the hostess, except she's not getting on the intercom every morning and screaming at you about the events of the day, or what's going on around the ship. Like you're not going to hear any of that. And then the rest of the happenings cast, you got the bounce, the hype, the gamer, um, the balancer,
Flair.
the foodie, the flair. So there's all these different. They have all these different names. They're kind of they call them influencers on the ship. So they'll be at various events based on whatever their theme is around their role. So the balancer is going to be the one doing the workout classes, I believe, because you want to balance having fun with being healthy and wellness. The artist is the one doing all the arts and crafts and other artistic things on board. Um, and then there's some other ones that just kind of mosey around and help the main cast at their different events. So you'll kind of get to know them as you go to the event. You'll find out where they're going to be because they will tell you, "Hey, I'm going to be at this place next, and come see me then." Um, so yeah, that's the Happenings cast.
And some of the happenings cast have grown up from being other roles in the shows. Others have come with no Virgin experience to be a Virgin cast member. And as Jen said, every cast is unique. Every cast is awesome. And they kind of have the keys to the castle or the keys to the ship because they have their own secret events too. And that's a podcast we can never, ever do because there are secret events that go on that we are you literally have to fill out a code of conduct, put your hand up. There's a whole pledge thing. There's no phones at those
Yeah, they don't let you
events.
take your
They
phones
li
in. Yeah,
yeah, for secret stuff, and that's part of the magic of it, and that's why we don't talk about that stuff. Other than to say there are secret events.
I've never been invited to the secret events. They don't think I'm cool enough, which is unfortunate. But I've seen on YouTube videos. Many of you watch Travel Spree. They got invited back when they first went on Virgin for the very first time back in like 2022, 2023. They got invited to one of the secret events when there was only like one secret event and they would hand you a card and they would tell you to go meet in a certain place and it was this whole thing. But they got invited just because the Happenings cast person liked Fane's hair, his blue hair. So you never know what's going to make them invite you. They also do pin trading now, which is cool. All of the Happening cast have different lapel pins that they give out at their events.
I guess we're
And
going to need ship talk pins for our cruises coming up,
I
Jen.
know, I know.
Saying
Um,
to do that.
I
I know a
got
merch
one.
person.
We got one from the gamer last time, so I actually need to figure out where that went. Um, but it's kind of cool.
Just made a reminder to myself that says merch pins custom. So now have another tab open. I'll be looking at that later. Um, so you have all these events going on because one thing that Virgin is not is boring. So I mentioned karaoke is my favorite. well, it's one of my favorites. As always, they're all my favorites, and there are some activities that are very high energy, like, the morning workouts, to very chill, like stargazing and stargazing stories, which are very chill that happen at the dock at night. They do it on a 7-day cruise, there'll be 2 of them. On a shorter cruise, they may not do them, and that's another thing that Jen and I have mentioned, that when you try to cram everything into a 4-night cruise, they have to cut a
It's a
lot of
lot.
things out. The longer the
Yeah.
cruise, the richer the experience.
Yeah.
No pun
There was
intended.
a lot of events. On a longer cruise, you're going to get duplicates of events too. So if you don't make it till one at the beginning of the cruise, you're most likely going to have it at the end of the cruise. The unfortunate thing with that is, in my situation, when I was on the Miami Mermaiden, I didn't get to see Murder in the Manor because we were waiting until the end of the cruise and someone in the cast got hurt and they ended up having to cancel. So there's a caveat to that. There was also a new dating game show on Brilliant that I was really excited for because I'd seen clips of it and a preview of it, and it got canceled because no one showed up other than me and my friend. So,
Oh,
because you need three girls and a guy, and or one girl and three guys, like depending on how they do it. They like look at the audience and figure out who is in the audience and actually there for the event, and then they decide how they're going to do it. But there was not enough people, so it got canceled.
so, there's so many events. I guess we could start any way you want. So let's start with a typical day at sea with the events we're gonna have. The shows are almost exclusively at night, although they will have some shows during the day. The shows are either in the Manor, which is a smaller, um, much more intimate coffee house style,
Mm-hmm.
with a bar upstairs and a bar downstairs, or the Red Room, where there's a bar outside. The Red Room is a massive 500 seat um,
Theater,
arena theater.
yeah.
Thank you. That can be set up in a number of configurations. You'll see a lot of shows in there. I prefer the shows in the Manor. I think they're just more intimate there. But again, you can pack in a few hundred people into that one as well, and they're both beautiful. It's why we tell you to never ever get a cabin on the eighth deck because you are right above the casino, the
And the
Manor,
Manor
and the
and
Red
the
Room.
Red Room. Yeah,
Just be
awful.
mindful of that. Yeah.
Especially the Manor because they go late. They go late at night. I had a friend that was in a solo insider on the eighth floor because she booked really last minute, and it was literally right on top of the Manor, and it was going till 3 o'clock in the morning. So keep that in mind when you're booking your cabins, or don't keep that in mind and book through us, and we'll keep that in mind for you because I don't put anyone on deck eight. I will tell them to change categories before I put them on deck eight.
And the Jedi stepping back and being a Padawan because my wife Dee and I switched our cruise from Europe to Alaska for this summer. And before I booked a cabin, I'm like, all right, Jen, here's what's left. She's like, nope, different category. You're not going to take those cabins because Jen knows and I know we know where to stay and where not to, but we're not going to sell ourselves right now. You can reach us through the many socials that are in our bio.
I would
Um,
rather have a lower cabin category or a higher cabin court category and like spend a little bit more than to be in a bad location and save some
so that
money.
could, and you want to sleep, because when it's time to sleep, it is time to sleep.
Yep.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. So, Jen, they apparently have fitness classes on board. I'm not really familiar with this. Apparently, there's some gyms too.
there are.
And
You're not going to catch me there.
okay, just
Mm-mm.
so we're clear, that's not us. However, those are
My friends do that.
classes, and I believe they're free, but you
They are
cannot sign
free.
up for them until you get on board. Another reason of getting that splash of romance, you get on board first after the VIPs get on board. The VIPs are the rock stars, the mega rock stars, and the deep blue extras, and um and other people. But in terms of getting on early, that's one of the perks is getting to sign up for stuff like your fitness classes. Now, if you don't get into a fitness class, show up anyway, understanding you're a standby and you might not get in.
The other thing to know about the fitness classes, so going to the gym, completely free. Going to the classes, completely free. But if you book a class and you don't show up to the class, they will charge you a fee. So I don't remember if it's 10 or $15. I believe it's 10. It's just like any other class that you like a soul cycle or anything like that where you get charged a fee for canceling or not showing up. So as long as you cancel, I think it's within 24 hours. There's no fee. But if you don't show up, you're going to get charged. So make sure you're not too hungover for those early classes. Things like yoga, where they're not using a studio. Um, the balancer will sometimes do yoga up on the perch or anything like that. Those are all free. You don't have to sign up. It's just show up and do it. Some of the stretching classes as well. Anything in the studio, that's what I'm talking about with the cancellation and booking ahead of time.
So the artist will have a variety of activities, from campy style arts and crafts to much more elaborate multi-class, multi-session events that are typically done on
Hmm.
sea days, but they can be done on port days as well. They're very campy, they're very fun, um, and they're designed to throttle back your energy.
Hmm.
You're not going to be they're not looking for Pablo Picasso to stop by. You're looking to have fun and make something really kind of cool. Um, and once they painted rocks and they had to go and leave the rocks on the ship. And my wife has on her trinket shelf a rock from our first cruise. It's beautiful that
Yeah.
someone painted in the art class. So it was very
We
cool.
it was so funny because we saw that on one of ours. We're like, I don't really want to go paint a rock. But then we saw them around the ship. We were like, oh, these are so like some of them are actually really pretty. And they've added in some really fun, like actual camp arts and crafts, which I was very excited about on Brilliant. They do like friendship bracelet making, and like we walked by and it was packed. So get there early. Um, they've got some paint and sip classes that looked really fun that they do like in the Drought House area. Um,
They usually make a
so all
mural
kinds
now
of
for every
things.
cruise.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
are
they've been doing the mural thing. They also did this last trip. They had like a net, like a fishing net that they hung up, and then everyone made like a little wish on a card and like wrote it down, and everyone attached it, and people could go and read it throughout the week. It was really cool. So they're always changing the different art things. Virgin encourages the Happenings cast to make things their own and come up with their own events. So you might see something on one ship that you won't see somewhere else. It just kind of depends on who the cast member is and what their specialty is.
Yeah, it's again one of those really cool things because it also builds this sense of community that I think Virgin Voyages does so great that when you get on the ship, you are on that ship on that cruise, and the world kind of just melts away. And it's really kind of nice that while there are several thousand people on board, you don't feel that. I never felt that vibe that, oh my God, there's so many people on board.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think all the events, make sure you get there early if it's something you're really wanting to do because you don't realize which ones are going to be popular and which ones aren't. Um, like
And there's
we
no
showed up
pecking
late.
order.
No. Unless it's a show. The show
There
there's
is a pecking
differences
order.
when you're a rock star, but the regular like trivia and game show things like that, there's no reserved seating for rock stars. Like, just show up and have fun. Another really fun one that I like, they've started adding in trivia and other game show type things where you don't sit down and watch them and it's very interactive. So similar to Bingo with the Diva, on Brilliant Lady they've added in Bingo Blitz, which is basically bingo after dark. So it starts at 11 p.m. When
Oh
I did
no.
it, we didn't have to pay anything, but that could change. It said we did, but then we didn't. They just gave us our cards and it was but I'll put a clip in when I'm editing this because it was the most fun I have ever had playing bingo. You stand on your feet, they ask you different questions. It's like interactive. There's people in blow up unicorn costumes running around. Everyone's in glow in the dark stuff. Um, so it's a fun way to get to know the Happenings cast because everyone's in there, and it's a fun alternative to the club nights instead of
So
blasting music in the manor.
so now there are 3 different bingos, plus there's Lotteria. So Bingo with the
Yep.
Diva is what kicked it all off. And Bingo with the Diva, you buy the cards an hour before the show. So you go to the
And
red
there's a
room,
line until it starts. You
correct.
will be, you gotta get there early.
You gotta get there early, and there is a pecking order for getting cards. If you are a red band, Exhibit A, red band, you will line up on the right side. If you're a black band, you will line up on the left side. And as always, the black band goes first. Once you have your card, you can come back because you've got your card because they will stop selling cards at a certain point. That's how they know when they're full. Cards, I think, are $25 for multiple boards and multiple games. And it is a 1 hour show. I call it a show because it's a show that you happen to possibly win money or champagne at. Because the diva and I want to say, is it the hype?
No,
Who's it with?
well, when I did it last, it was the hostess, but I think it's changed.
Well, the diva does one or two shows, and the hostess does one or two shows. But then
Yeah,
they always have a backup person. Um, the diva is hysterical because she does a whole show while you're playing these bingo games, and there's mini games as well that you can wind up on the stage playing mini games, which is a lot of fun. Um, but they're cash games, and you can win several hundred to several $1,000s playing. So if you're going to go, you might as well get a board anyway. You do not need a blotter. These and it's a lot of fun.
they're the
Uh,
punch one.
they're the punch ones. Don't rip anything off. You just push them through, and you don't have to bring cash with you. They don't take cash. Everything is billed through your account. So don't worry about
And
handing them cash.
if you happen to be on a specialty sailing where some of the Virgin executives are on board, um, there may be some other prizes that get thrown in. I know I was on one that happened to be a partial first mate sailing, and they were giving away free cruises during bingo. So,
Love it.
um, specialty sailings may have different things being done during some of these activities versus a regular sailing. Um, another one that they just started doing, and I'm hoping they roll it out across the fleet because it was so funny. Um, but on Brilliant Lady, they have Retail Rumble, and it's kind of like a supermarket sweep back in the day. But it's hosted
You hear
by
the
the
beep?
hostess. Yeah. Hosted by the hostess and one of the other Happenings cast members, or two of the other Happening cast members. But it's interactive. They bring people up from the audience to play, and like some of it is guessing prices on things. It's just insanity, some inappropriateness too with jokes, but it is so funny. It was like my new favorite thing. I was crying. I was laughing so hard. So don't miss out on some of those activities in the later afternoons. They usually start around 2 o'clock. It'll be like Bingo with the Diva. The Diva Goes West, which is like a country cabaret show. Um, which replaced, I forget what it is on the other ships.
Love, love, love with the diva.
No, Love 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 is with the hostess.
Okay.
It Hang on, let's go check.
Well, let's go check.
We're
I'm actually
handy.
going to my Virgin Voyages app right now. So Walgen's looking at there's also Last One Standing, which is a trivia game, and that's normally going on at the same time as bingo, because they've got the manner to do Last One Standing, and they'll use the red room for bingo because the red room is the largest area that they can have everybody in one spot. Um, so let's see. That lineup.
So
So Love 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 is with the hostess. You are
I think they've
correct.
gotten rid of the one that it replaced, but because it looks like there's Diva Fever now, which is on Resilient Lady. And then Scarlet Lady has a couple other things that the Diva's hosting. But for Brilliant Lady, it's The Diva Goes West. Highly recommend. It's so funny. And then oh, the dinner show that I was talking about was Up with a Twist. That's the one that's on Brilliant Lady. That is fantastic.
I've seen
So
I've seen a third of Another Rose, which is Dinner Theater, but we've already put that on our must-do list for the next cruise. But
wait,
that one comes with
how do you pay for a dinner theater and only see a third of it?
you got your money back. There was an accident. Someone got hurt. They canceled
Oh,
it, so everybody got their
okay.
money back. Person's
Yeah.
fine. They just had a little too much cerveza that day. It happens. So to give you some idea of just how big and how transformative the Red Room is, they do some fitness classes in there too for hundreds of people. So if you want to do Zumba, you're going to go and do it in the Red Room with maybe 150 other people. Like it's huge. this room. You don't realize how big it is because it doesn't feel like it's a theater till it's set as a theater.
Yeah, we did the Pop Princess Showdown on our last one in October, and there was probably only 20 of us in there, and it seemed huge when you're on the floor and it's completely empty with no seats. The the seats are retractable. So
Hmm.
seeing it when it's set up for like what's the acrobat Romeo and Juliet one?
Oh, it's on Scarlet Lady. It's not Persephone, right?
Dual
Uh, yeah, it's still reality.
dual reality. When
Dual
you're
reality,
seeing
which
dual
is Romeo and Juliet.
reality, it's more of a stadium seating style because you've got seats on the right or seats forward, seats back. And then you'll go see something like oh
Bingo with the diva.
gosh. Yeah, Bingo with the Diva, where it's a true theater style where you're all sitting on one side and then the diva's got the stage up front. And then you go in for Zumba or Pop Princess Showdown and there's no seats anywhere and it's just an open floor. And it's so different to see it set up the different ways. It's a really or even Untitled Dance Show Party thing on Scarlet, like, and the way they move around in there was really cool.
So let's talk about some more activities. One thing that you are not going to be missing anywhere is the constant selection of artists and up and coming artists that are brought onto the ship. You will hear
Mm-hmm.
every flavor of music throughout the ship. There's DJs up on the pool decks. There's going to be someone's playing almost nonstop by the runabout. There's going to be, which is right next on the rocks. There's going to be someone playing over by the social club.
The
Um,
Sip
there's
Lounge, they've started
the
doing
Civ Lounge,
acoustic there.
right? And they're just, it's just people sharing their joy of music. It's just wonderful. Um, and those are just have a seat. There's no sign up, get a seat, and you'll see people that come for that. That is why they're coming. They're coming for the music, and they will have their seat, and they will spend the entire day just sipping and watching these amazing artists. And karaoke will pop in during that sometimes, and sometimes not. Sometimes they'll be playing a song, and a guest will be sitting right there saying, "I know this song," and they'll pull them on stage. Things like that
Yeah.
happen. It's very cool.
Yeah, there's fantastic music on the rocks, and Brilliant Lady has the benefit of not having the record store anymore up by Drought House. So sometimes they'll do music up there too. I forget what they call it, that area now, but it's a cute little, like, more intimate area versus on the rocks where everyone is kind of spread out and hidden with the bar seating.
Jen, educate me. By the social club, there's a bar. It's not the draft house, but it's very
Loose Canyon,
s- loose
Loose Cannon,
cannon. Thank you.
Canyon. Where'd I get
And
that
that,
from?
which is also has a great selection of beers. Um, the draft house is one deck up, and it is one of the only places that you can get Guinness is a draft house. So if you're a big Guinness drinker, as I am, and you want a half and half or a Guinness, that's where you go. It's a draft house
Loose Cannon also has what's the octopus shot thing?
with
I forget what
drinks
they
for
call it.
eight. I know
Yeah,
what you're talking about though. Yeah.
it's like a octopus statue and it can fit 8 different shots on it. It's cool. Yeah, also don't miss like Opa Hour at the dock where they've got like different bites and stuff outside, different from the normal menu. They always have live music there, and it's always such a fun vibe to just relax in the late afternoon and listen to the
Great place
music.
to go first afternoon if you're looking for a little morsel to eat. They're not going to do the full open hour. They're going to do limited
Just a
offerings the
regular
first day.
menu.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
nice and it's there's a lot of day beds to sit in. It's very
They go
informal.
fast though because
They
everyone's
do.
figured it out.
Yep, because of people like us.
Yeah.
Um,
We love going
what?
there as like a pre-sail away. We'll go there and get a drink and some snacks and then head to sail away, and it's great.
So my favorite thing for the dock is going to be at night. They're going to do stargazing stories where it's usually 2 nights on the ship and they shut down all the lights, but they bring out their orbs. You'll understand that when you go to Scarlet at night. To help, and that's the only light they use is the orbs. And they're going to just have you kind of do a very low key. They tell you this is not a time for side conversations to try to focus in the moment. And it's just It's very relaxing, it's very chill. It's not stargazing because they can't shut off the lights for maritime rules. They'd love to have a deck of no light, but it's not that easy. However, bring your phone because dim your screen, you can still take pictures of the night sky that your camera can see that you cannot with the naked eye. So it's kind of nice and it's very chill.
I've heard mixed things about it. I wonder if it's just because of the cast
It's
or
always the cast. It's always about the cast. Um, if you find they have great energy, tell them how great it is. If it's not your cup of tea and you're not feeling it halfway through, no one's going to get insulted if you get up and leave. Just do it in a
yeah,
polite manner.
yeah. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to think of what else we haven't talked about. Um, there's all kinds of different game shows. You've got Double Trouble, which is a couples game show that's on all the ships. I didn't get to catch this one last time. I don't even think I remember seeing it on the itinerary.
First time ever hearing of it.
Um, and then you've got Hot Seat, which is the one that I was talking about that they didn't get to do on Brilliant Lady, but that one's exclusive to Brilliant Lady. You got
And
Last
Jen
One Standing.
and
Oh,
Jen
what?
keeps saying exclusive too. What that means is that while the four ladies are very similar, 95% similar. There's that 5% deviation. For example, we're going on what boat are we going on? Because we're going in a few weeks. I should know this by now. Um, and on this ship, they have what's called another Rose, and that's one of their exclusive dinner shows that's only on that ship. And this is on the Resilient Lady. On the Valiant Lady, they have Lola's Library. Again, an exclusive show because they have a cast for that show. So, and the divas will have their own shows, and there's four divas because there's four different ships.
Valiant Ladies, it's a ship show.
It's a ship show. Thank you.
Resilient Lady is Lola's Library.
Correct.
Um, and
And
then
Lola's Library is not a dinner theater.
Scarlet Lady has the Lulz Supper Club, which is comedians.
Yes.
Um, so they're all moving towards this having different entertainment on each ship because it does like there's a lot of people that go on the same ship multiple times a year. Um, and being able to switch up that entertainment is important, even though the cast can really change the show around. Like there's been times where I've seen some of the shows twice, and the second time or the first time is better than the second time, or the second time is better than the first time. So it really just kind of depends. Um, but you've got Latte You Stay, which is a coffee themed game show that's on all of the ships. We talked about Retail Rumble, Risky Quizness. There's a lot of different variations of trivia. And some people are like, oh, trivia is so boring. But no, there's so much fun. It's not like your typical get a piece of paper and everyone's going to go through some generic questions. There's a fun interactive element to
Oh
it
no, they're
that's
pretty
more than
hysterical.
just sitting down and doing trivia. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, they're
the Great
themed, and you'll
Handbag
know
Hunt
the
is
theme
also
before
really
you sit
funny.
down.
Yeah.
Which one?
Uh, the Great
I didn't hear.
Handbag Hunt,
Jen,
it's new. It's on Brilliant Lady, Resilient Lady, and Scarlet Lady, but you're basically helping the diva fill her handbag with stuff that you have on you.
kind of
It's
very
cool.
similar to what's the Wayne Brady show? Let's Make a Deal, where
Yeah,
he's looking for people to have a certain thing. I'm looking for someone who's got lipstick, and you get called up if you have lipstick like that.
yeah, yeah.
That's very cool.
Um, let's move into the food and drink events because those are my favorite.
Okay,
Um, anything with food. So,
so you want to go first? What's
yeah,
your favorite?
Ross mentioned Loteria. Um, if you have not played Loteria, it's basically millennial bingo in Spanish. And the real Loteria is not. Virgin's version is. um, but you're gonna get a whole bunch of shots of tequila. It does have a cost to it. It's basically bingo. Um, Super fun. So highly recommend you go to that. But be ready for a nap afterwards because it can be
Pace
a lot of
yourself.
drinking. Um, Then you've got things like afternoon tea. That one's also a separate cost. I did that one. I don't, have you done it, Ross?
Afternoon tea?
Yeah.
No, I have not. I've heard it's phenomenal. That it's on our list for Alaska.
Uh, I no, I'm not a tea person,
We
so
are.
take my opinion with a grain of salt. It was just not my thing.
That's okay.
I We paid for it because we had a friend that wanted to do it, and like the snacks were fine, but like I don't enjoy sitting there and drinking tea. I was more
Now,
excited for the champagne
I was gonna
because
say there
you have two
is
options. You can do
you
the
can go
tea only,
boozy.
or you can do tea and champagne, and we did the boozy one.
Good.
Um, so I wouldn't go back and pay for that, but
Now,
it's a good option for people that like tea.
we signed up for a class and wound up at the wrong class, and it was such a horribly amazing mistake. So we went to Shot for Shot thinking it was mixology. Now,
Yeah,
mixology is a class where you're going to learn to make several drinks, and you get to try them. It's awesome. I think it's 3 or 4 drinks. It's an hour. It's great. And people love it. That's mixology. Well, Shot for Shot is
photography.
no, 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 not that Shot for Shot. This was in the athletic club, and this was 2 bartenders going shot for shot. They would make mhm, they would make 6 different drinks over the course of an hour. I want you to do the
That's
math,
mix it
okay?
up.
Mix
Mix
it
it
up.
up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you have to vote which one's better. Well, the only way to vote is to try them. So, in the course of 1 hour, and somewhere I have a picture of our table because at a certain point, we're like, "I'm gonna take a sip and that's it." We had 12 drinks. It was on an empty stomach. It was lovely.
There seems
It
to be a
was
theme with you.
it
Drinking
was love
activities on an empty stomach.
seems to be an activity, a theme. It was wonderful. It was a lot of alcohol. There was a fee. It was really nice. Um, and these were bartenders. These were not cast members. And there was a cast member running it, but it was 2 bartenders, and they did a great job, and it was a lot of fun. I will say, as we're getting into the drinking type events, um, the grog walk, I definitely want to dovetail into the grog walk because I don't want to forget this. The grog walk is a great way to meet people. If you are a solo sailor or you're with your partner, your bestie, and it's just the 2 of you and you want to meet more people, go on the grog walk. It's great. But understand this, you are not choosing what you're drinking. You are getting there and the drink is already prepared. You can either have it or not have it. Those are kind of your choices.
And they do have
Um,
a non-alcoholic
correct.
option for those that
There's
don't
also
drink.
and I believe there is a beer-themed grog walk one night, correct me if I'm wrong, but normally it's
I haven't heard
cocktails.
that. There is a sister event to the Grog Walk called Booze Clues, which is new.
That's great.
Um, yeah, it's like a detective thing that you're walking around the ship. I haven't done the Grog Walk yet. Every time we try to book it and we just have too much going on. So I'm definitely gonna do it on the next one I do.
Well,
Um,
here's my take on it.
where I'll
This is
actually be solo.
what I would do is if you're in a group, like a pre-ship Facebook group, and there's dozens and dozens of people, and you're like, I like to drink, but I have my flavors that I want to drink. Make your own grog walk. You can do it.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
basically say, hey guys, we're meeting up at 5 o'clock on this sea day at this bar. Um, we're gonna do a sign up here so we know that we can tell the bartender we're starting, that we're gonna limit it to the first 15 people that sign up because you cannot be 30 people walking through the ship
No.
unescorted. They will not like that. And then go. Now there is if you're on a ship for a week, you can hit every bar easily in 1 week. In 3 or 4 days, good luck. But in a week, you definitely can. And I recommend you try every bar to find your favorite.
I've done every bar in 3 or 4 days.
Yes, ma'am. I've
No, I
also
take
done
that
it.
back. We didn't go to Loose Cannon. I take that back. I did all of them except that.
Right. Um, and that's my take on the grog walk. There's always an activity on the grog walk and a theme that again is set up by the cast members, and it's lovely. Um,
I
and
love
you'll
the
find
idea of like with the grog walk, doing it the first day so that you could meet people if you're a couple or you're solo, because doing it at the 9 p.m. time is a really good segue into the pajama party. You could do the grog walk in your pajamas. It's so much fun to see everyone walking around in their pajamas for the grog walk. Um, so I recommend doing it that way. That's the way I'm going to do it on my next one. I think most people tend to do that, but I don't think doing it in the middle of the week gets very many takers.
Right?
By then, you've met people.
It's similar to people who don't show up to the first couple events in a solo meetup, and suddenly on day 4, there's a brand new person, like, "Where have you been for the last 3 days?" Because the groups have already formed at that point. Um, it just very organically.
Yeah. Um, Other food and drink type events that I am very excited to try. I keep trying to get people to try this one with me, and no one wants to do it. The Bubbles and Bites champagne and fried chicken. Um,
How could you not wanna do that?
well, my friends don't drink anymore. So the one time we were gonna do it, we were hungover and it didn't sound good. And then I tried to do it this last time and they don't drink, so it didn't make sense, and I didn't wanna go by myself.
But it's fried chicken.
I know, I'm going this next time because I will be by myself and no one can tell me no. But it's basically you get it's I think it's $50, 25, $50, and you get different types of fried chicken and then 3 or 4 different types of champagne to drink with it. Um, like, you can't beat, like, 4 or 5 different glasses of champagne for $50, like, it's a great deal. So, I'll be doing that one. There's also some on Brilliant Lady, Dip It Real Good. There's a mushroom class, not like that kind of mushrooms, like different types of mushrooms you eat, um, and cook with. And then, the chocolate class, which I know Ross has been
We're
wanting to
dying to
do.
do. We've missed that
Um,
ever, and that's our number one thing when we get on board. And, um, there's also gonna be pop-up events that are gonna you're gonna find out that day. So, I highly suggest every morning popping up to the galley or down to Seller Services and get the hard copy of the plan for the day, because they're gonna be dropping things in every day. Because while they've already dropped stuff for my cruise that is now 57 days away, but they slowly keep adding to it, and then boom, everything's there, like 3 weeks out. But then you get on board, they're like, "Oh my god, there's even more."
um, for the non-drinkers, there's also a lot of food and drink things that don't include alcohol. So there's Spill the Beans with Intelligentista coffee. I don't think I'm saying that right, but that's what it looks like. And then there's also What's the Tea, which is like a tea tasting thing for an hour in the test kitchen
Oh, I
on all
gotta
the
find about
ships.
that.
And then exclusive to Brilliant Lady, I didn't even see this on my itinerary last time, but I heard about it, and I heard people that did it. Is the Jack and Rosé experience, which is
Interesting.
it's a Titanic inspired cocktail
I gotta
thing, and you get to go to secret places on the ship, and it's supposed to be really cool. So, there's lots of different classes you can take, different mixology classes. There's a sushi making class, um, Instagrammable things. You can pretty much find whatever you want when it comes to food and drink events. Casual events. We haven't really talked about those yet.
What's a casual event, Jen?
That would be your things like pickleball in the sport complex, or your glam station before Scarlet Night, or before the glow in the dark party, or 80s night. Um, Karaoke with a happenings cast, I think, is technically a casual event. The mural painting, um, sometimes on all the ships they'll have a Nintendo Switch game night, and you can all go play Mario Kart. Um, Shuffleboard competitions, a scavenger hunt of all the sculptures on the ship. Um, And then Brilliant Lady had a couple exclusive ones. One was the Stitch Up, which was a craft club, and you book it ahead of time, and you're basically sewing your own keychain. It was kind of cool. And then that one was actually packed. We tried to go and couldn't get a seat. And then the Voyagers collection is a multi-day scavenger hunt that's exclusive to Brilliant Lady, and you get like a little passport, and you have to get stamps at all the different places. So Keep an eye out for things like that that will pop up at the last minute. What are we missing? I think that's it.
That's it, except I will say that, um, each ship is a little different in meaning that, like, you're gonna find places that are so unique in each ship. There are also tons of do on your own activities. For example, in the rear of the ship on 16, correct me if I'm wrong, uh, that's towards the back of the ship on your way to the athletic club on the walking aft on the right side of the ship. I don't want to say port and starboard here. You're going to find a giant chess set. You're going to find kids games that are adult size, like seesaws and hammock chairs, and but not like the hammock chairs in your room, not like those kind of hammocks. And
Yeah.
these are very playgroundy like toys that
The
are a
big
lot of fun
round
as well.
swing style.
Right. There's a massive trampoline, not a jumping trampoline, that you can walk out and see down like, 100 feet. Not for the
The
faint of
net.
heart. The net, it's called. And I won't go on it. It
And
looks really cool.
don't go on it barefoot, it hurts.
And
It's
you're not allowed
awful.
to bring any drinks on it either. You have to,
No.
it's you going on it.
Yeah.
Um, and, you're going to see in the sip lounge, they have some other nice things. You can get caviar in the sip lounge, which my wife, that's on her always must-do list, to have caviar and either a cocktail or some champagne. And
Yeah.
every bar is going to have their own little things like that in the afternoon. Um, I mean, you can can I do the ice cream challenge? Because every day there's different ice cream. Can you get the entire menu down? There's going to be daily specials for food every day in the galley. I guess what we're trying to tell you is you're not gonna be bored. You're just
No.
not.
If you're bored, there's something.
You chose to be bored.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, what you're not gonna get, generally speaking, is people running through the halls at all hours because the ship does not tolerate it. Although there will be some people stabbering to their cabins late at night. It
Scarlet
does
Night, I was gonna
happen.
say Scarlet Night's the exception. You're gonna
Yeah.
see some the people that are out late.
You want to
um
schedule a nap before Scarlet Night, like a
yes.
pre-dinner nap, a good
Disco nap.
1 hour. Yeah. Just take a good 1 hour
Um
nap to ready yourself.
Other things to look at are look at some of the bands that are on board prior to when you board. A lot of them are on Instagram. I've got some good ones that were on Brilliant Lady, and they're moving around the ships. Matt Walden is fantastic. He does acoustic covers, and he's great. Um, Katrina, oh, I forget her name, Katrina and something, but she is like an R&B singer, and the band actually was a band before her. They used to perform on Royal Caribbean, and she was cruising on Royal Caribbean and got pulled up to sing with them, and then they invited her to join the band permanently. They're all from like Colombia or something, and she's from the US. And it's a really cool story.
The
And
ship
then
show
also,
band, the band that's
yeah.
in It's a Ship Show has their own sets also throughout the ship,
Oh,
which is a
cool.
great band. Yeah.
Um, Plan V, I loved them. They were so funny. They're all from Latin America. They're insane. They always played. They actually just started doing shows in the Manor, which was really cool instead of club nights. And so, highly
That's a
recommend
big
them.
jump for them.
Yeah,
That's a much larger audience. That's great.
yeah. It was really cool to see on Brilliant how they did that because there was the more intimate shows, and then they'd bring in the full band for the Manor shows, and it was a lot of fun. But Plan V is so high energy and very interactive with the audience, and we just loved them. And then if you're on a ship that the magnets are on, highly recommend going to see them. They're typically on Valiant Lady, but they're an acapella group. The guys switch out every once in a while, but they're fantastic. It's probably one of the best ones I've seen on the ship.
We saw a group a couple years ago called Latin Kings. They were amazing.
Hmm. Hmm.
We've seen solo artists that are amazing. Um, and we should mention also there's typically one or two comedians on every cruise.
We had a
They're
great
all,
comedian on
they're in
Brilliant
the
Lady this
Manor
last
or the Red
time.
Room, and you don't find about until the day of boarding, typically. And they're
Yeah.
awesome. They're
The
hysterical,
the
and there's no kid
performer
show.
The performers' contracts are usually a little bit shorter than like the main cast contracts. So the musicians and the comedians will be on board for like 2 to 3 weeks at a time, and then they'll take a break, and then they'll come back, or they'll go to a different ship or whatever. So um, yeah, you're never gonna, well, not never say never, but it's gonna be hard to see the same performers more than once across the ships.
Have you been to a Scarlet Night inside?
So I will be this year. Um, I've seen clips of it. They were supposed to preview it when I was on her this year on Brilliant Lady. Because Brilliant Lady is really the only one that's doing that, unless the weather's really bad in the Caribbean or Europe, um, or New York. But I haven't. They just did normal Scarlet Night for my last trip, so I'm sure in September we'll end up being indoors
Oh, because you're going to
in
Alaska.
Alaska.
Well, I
Hmm.
mean, I'll be there 2 weeks before you, so I'll let you know how it goes for us.
They did do some of the pre Scarlet Night new events and the pre Pajama Party new events. And the Pajama Party they actually did indoors when I was on Brilliant, which was not as fun to me. Um, I feel
Where they
like it's
do it
more
in the
fun.
Manor?
Yeah. We showed up and left. It just wasn't the same vibe for the Pajama Party. Um, but I did like the other extra things they added and the alternatives to the PJ party that they've that are inside the ship to give people that don't want to go dancing something to do to still be involved. Like I think that was a great move.
So
Um,
when I was with a bunch of solos on Resilient last year, someone said, "Are the hot tubs open at night?" I said, "I'm pretty sure they're open till midnight every night." Why? He said, "So we can go to the pajama party and go in those hot tubs." I'm like, "Yeah," and that's what we did. We went to the pajama party and sat in the hot tubs and just had a blast watching people having a blast. It was great.
yeah, that's what we did one time. Actually, after the, I think they're open later because I'm pretty sure it was like 1 or 2 in the morning when we were in them after the pajama party.
And of course, the
Um,
best evening activity after the pajama party, after Scarlet Night, after the shows is get some pizza.
yes. But know that if you're going to do that, there is going to be a line. So, pro tip, have someone in your group go get the pizza and bring the thing back to the manor because the little vibrating number will reach the manor.
They don't tell you that though.
No,
I mean, we could talk about activities for days
we could.
on end. I will tell you, make a plan, do a search, look around at other people's itineraries. If your cruise is sailing the same itinerary and it's going to be a month before yours, go look at their itinerary a month before, see what's going on it.
Yeah.
There's ways to figure
If
that out.
you're if you're in the Facebook groups, generally people will post something from the cruise before online. Look at Reddit. Sometimes people will post it there. Um, Things will change as the cruise goes on and as time gets closer to you boarding your cruise, but they generally keep it pretty much the same. If they change it, they've got a good reason for it. So just be
And
flexible.
speaking of Facebook groups, there is a Facebook group for us. It's Ship Talk with Jen and Ross. Um, we have started it, so feel free to join it. And we'll keep you abreast. We'll always drop our podcast there, as well as all 74 other locations. But
Yep.
we'll also let you know when we're going to be cruising, so maybe you can bump in and get one of our limited edition, soon to be coming trading pins for the Happenings cast. I will totally bring
Maybe.
pins just to get theirs. I'm not gonna lie.
I think we need our own trading pins and we need our regular ship talk trading pins.
That's what I'm
Let's
talking
figure out
about.
a way to do that. Yeah.
Absolutely, it'll be fun. So,
All right. Well,
what
I think
else?
we pretty much covered all of the events,
Absolutely, we did.
or at least
So,
80% of them.
and there's always new ones.
Yeah. It's hard
And
to
when
keep
you,
up. One thing I do want to say, if you listened to last week's episode,
which
unfortunately,
was, which was
we
last
were
week's episode.
we were talking about food last week.
Yes. Oh,
It,
yes. This was an update that just dropped.
I went on a whole tangent about how you could trick the system. You know, they probably heard this and they were like, "We got to take this away. There's a loophole." Um, I went on a whole tangent about how you could use the sip and savor menu at Pink Agave and take advantage of the 3 drinks you get.
And Sir
They
Richard
had,
must have been listening.
yeah, they were listening to the podcast and they were like, no, no. Sip and savor menus are now gone across the fleet on all menus except
Except
for
for,
Test Kitchen.
which is Jen's favorite restaurant,
So,
ironically.
right. So just want to throw that out there. If you listened to last week's episode, ignore that whole section because it is no longer a thing, unfortunately.
But
But
you know they're going to do something.
yeah, usually when they do stuff like this, that means there's something better coming. So I'm curious what they're going to replace it with. But maybe it'll be something new every month. You never know.
I love when they do that, when they customize it to the ship and gives again that sense of community for that particular sailing. Um, so we'll
Well,
see.
honestly, them doing that with the restaurants, having a different restaurant in place of Razzle Dazzle on every ship, has kind of done that because Brilliant Lady is my favorite ship now because of Rojo.
Okay, it's funny you mentioned that because I did want to give this update because Deirdre was looking and apparently on our cruise coming up, um, on Resilient Lady, the dinner menu on Razzle is not the Razzle dinner menu.
They change it again?
They are doing the same one as Scarlet without the change of decor. So it's going to be a Lucky Lotus style dinner menu,
I
unless
wonder if they're
the
previewing that
typo
for
in the app,
something,
right? Or it's a typo in the app, which is
which very
absolutely
well could
possible.
be because we
Yeah,
know how the IT is over there. Um, Interesting. But you know what? I'm gonna ask my clients because they're getting off the ship tomorrow.
wonderful.
I'll ask them what it was because they would have told me that. Because they keep saying that they want to go on Scarlet Lady to try Lucky Lotus.
Jen, how many days to your next cruise?
I don't know. September.
Are we still looking at doing that May cruise on Celebrity? We have to regroup on that. That's going to be a no. Okay. So I've
Because
got
I'm doing a land trip in May. I'm
a
going
land
camping in
cruise.
Zion for a week.
Hashtag totally jealous. Bring a camera.
My friend that I normally cruise with is flying into town. We're gonna take all the dogs to Zion, all 3 of our dogs,
That's awesome.
and we're gonna glamp for a week.
I love it.
Um,
So
so
we're at
yeah,
57
and
days.
I ended up canceling my July one. Actually, July is my next one because I canceled my original July one on the cruise line that shall not be named to replace it with a Virgin one. So
That was
Fourth of
money well
July,
spent.
we're gonna go. It was cheaper, and well, it will be cheaper because it's most likely gonna show up on solo deals. But we're gonna do the 4 night to Key West
Make sure it's not
for Fourth of
Nassau.
July. You're what?
Make sure it's not Nassau.
No,
Sometimes
it's
the
Key West.
soirees, yeah.
Yeah,
So we've got 57 days till um, Grand Cayman, Jamaica, and Bimini, and then we've got 195 till Seattle, Juneau, and Canadian coasts.
yeah.
And I can't wait for
Uh,
both of them because they're going to be so different.
I'm very
And
excited for both of
we're gonna
mine.
have to have it. We're gonna do a dive into what to pack at some point because
Yeah,
Alaska's a totally different packing experience than the Caribbean.
and I'm
So it's
working on an Alaska guide right now. So hopefully we can like time it with that. That way we've got all of my checklists and everything done. Um, because Alaska is a whole different beast depending on the time of year you go and what kind of excursions you're doing, versus the Caribbean or even Europe. Um, there was something else. Oh, also sneak peek for those of you that like Virgin merch. I am launching a Virgin merch store. It is
we
obviously not
are.
going to
I mean,
have
you are.
Virgin logos on it, but Virgin slash cruise themed. So
Shall
keep
we say inspired by Virgin merchandise?
inspired. Cruise and Virgin Voyages inspired
Did you go with my
merch.
idea that we're not going to talk about here?
You'll have to remind me because I know you sent me a couple. Oh,
You know, that'll
no, I can't because it's yeah,
I think we can, we just gotta figure it out. I think there's a way to
yeah.
do it. We're
The
gonna talk
way I'm
about that.
setting up the store, it's not gonna work, but maybe eventually.
Mhm.
I Yeah, so follow me on my socials if you're not already. You'll see it launching there, but there's gonna be options for you to customize it with, like, your trip name and things like that if you're doing a group. There's gonna be lots of cool stuff, and actually, there's a couple things on there that I put specifically for Alaska that I'm gonna be getting for myself to wear.
And I believe we're gonna be selling Ship Talk shirts there. Who
We can!
knows? We
Who
totally
knows?
can. Get your ship on. Um,
So that'll be coming in the next couple months.
that's so
But
awesome, Jennifer. I'm so happy you've been working on that very hard.
my brain hurts
That's okay.
for all the designing I've been doing, but it'll be cool when it's done. So, I think that's it for this episode,
Yes,
because otherwise we'll just start rambling for hours.
which we can
But
do.
yeah, thanks everyone for listening, coming back every week. We appreciate it. You can follow us on all of the social media platforms. I am
Cruising with
Cruising
Jen,
with Jen.
cruising with Russ.
You can find us on Facebook. We've got Facebook groups. We've got all the things. And if you are looking to book a Virgin Voyages cruise and want to work with either of us, check the link in the description if you're on YouTube. I think it's also on Spotify, Apple Music, all of that too. For our email, you can email whoever you want to work with. We're both here, both happy to help.
And we do a lot
Um,
more than just Virgin, but Virgin is our favorite.
it
Just to
is.
be fair.
We work with all the cruise lines, all the all inclusives. We can help however you need. Um, but yeah, that's it for this week. We will see you all next time and happy cruising.
Happy cruising.